Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is investing. We think about investing money, but we don't necessarily think about investing time. And so we get to talk about the um, relationship of time, money, life energy, and priorities to follow up on our conversation yesterday at your request. So before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, all your electrons, and creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together, vigorously rub your hands together and feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, all that motion and the tickling and tingling when you stop, and allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to be here with you this morning. Welcome, Rosalind. Welcome, Bernadette. It's great to have you joining us and everybody else who's here. Let's talk about investing. So yesterday we spoke about juggling and creating priorities and how to do that and looking at what's important. And you all asked that we revisit that topic. So this is another take on that topic if we talk about investing, because we are conditioned to believe that time is money. Time is not money. Time is life energy. We are investing our energy, our life energy in the things that we spend time on. And we all have limited time while we're here. We don't know how much time we have. And the question is, what do we invest our life energy into? So if you have a job that you despise, you're investing a part of your life in that job in exchange for money. And so maybe when you think about that, you're actually investing your life in that job, perhaps it might give you incentive to look for a job that is rewarding, that is fulfilling, that speaks to your soul, that you get to prioritize you. And we were talking yesterday about the 4 different. Good morning, good afternoon, Gia, or evening. Welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here with us. We're talking about investing, and it's sort of a continuation of yesterday's conversation since you all wanted to dive more deeply into it. But what we're talking about is how we spend our time is truly an investment. It's an investment in our future. It's an investment in our fulfillment. It's an investment it is an investment of our lives. So what we want to do is look at our priorities and how we want to spend money terms, spend our lives. Do we want to spend our lives frantically doing tasks that are irrelevant and that we don't like, and that that are not particularly important? So to review the 4 quadrants of priorities that we spoke about yesterday, we have 2 criteria: urgent and important. And some things are urgent and important, meaning they're time bound, they're calling for immediate attention, they're important to fulfilling our objectives, fulfilling our vision, they're in alignment with our commitments. And those things are urgent and important. Then there are things that are urgent but not important, like things that have time deadlines, but they're not really important. And so some of those things we can actually dispense with. Some of them maybe we want to delegate if they're urgent but not important. And from yesterday, our example was somebody who is doing all kinds of things to transform the world and then had a broken garbage disposal. They were fascinated about learning how to fix the garbage disposal, but and it may be urgent or not. I guess it depends on how attached you are to the garbage disposal. But for them, it was not really important in terms of aligning that task or that curiosity or that pursuit with their higher values. And so so that was urgent and important, urgent and not important. Then we have another quadrant, which is important but not urgent. And that's an important quadrant to be investing in. That's where our biggest investment goes, actually, most likely, is in the important but not urgent, because those are the things that have to do with personal growth and development, and things that are moving us in the direction of our highest intention. And so investing in that quadrant is a really, really valuable thing that will give us very high returns, most likely. And then there's the last quadrant, which is not urgent and not important. And lots of us end up investing a lot of our lives in that quadrant. It's not urgent, it's not important. And the important piece has to do with our ultimate intentions. What is in alignment with us? What is going to feed our soul? What is going to forward our intention for our lives? So when we're investing our time, our heart and soul, the quadrant we want to be looking at is the important but not urgent. That's where we want to make sure to allocate some of our precious time. Now, if we think about money, we can actually use, and investing money, we can use these quadrants also to help us determine how we might want to spend our money. And again, investing in the important but not urgent quadrant is a really important place to be investing, because that's kind of looking at long term. That's kind of looking at down the road, setting yourself up for success. And one way to invest that in these not urgent, but important arenas is, for instance, to allocate a certain amount of money, if we're talking about money investment, weekly or monthly, that is an amount of money that isn't going to pinch you too badly, or maybe not even pinch you at all. So, for instance, if we have a Starbucks habit, for example, you don't really get out of Starbucks without $5 a shot, right? Pretty close to at least $5 a shot. Maybe it's even more at this point, right? So if you're doing Starbucks weekly, daily, as I know some people do, you're talking, even if it's just the days of the week, you're talking like $25 a week. It's $100 a month, if you or more. And so if instead of doing Starbucks, or maybe if you cut your Starbucks down to once a week and invest regularly $20 a week, so you still have your $5 for the one day of Starbucks a week, because it's a both and. We don't want, it's not about sacrifice, but if you look at doing that, then you can be investing $80 a month in whatever you're investing in. So if we talk about investing, there are all different ways to invest. One of the you could invest in stocks or bonds or CDs or crypto, but one of the ways, if you're going to be involved in a market that fluctuates, is to have what they call dollar cost averaging. And the way that works is that you have whatever investment you're engaged with, and you just put in money every week, and you make a purchase every week so that you catch the fluctuations, and then it averages out. So you don't wait for the top and you don't wait for the bottom, and you're not trying to predict the market. You're just regularly putting money into this thing that you are investing yourself, your energy. So money is if money is related to time, and you are investing your time in order to earn that money, then you are investing yourself in whatever financial investments you're making. So there are funds, like, let's say you're interested in free energy. I don't mean free energy. I mean like alternative energy. There are different funds that gather companies that on the stock market that are doing things with alternative energy, and you can put your money regularly into those funds. Or maybe there's a stock you like, or maybe there's a crypto that you like, Bitcoin or Ethereum or any number of others. But if you make a regular contribution of your money, of your time, of your life energy, then that catches the fluctuations and is likely to give you a return. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but this is a suggestion for you to look into in terms of investing your life energy. And we can see our money as a representation of that, because most often we have invested our time to create that money. And when we think about how much time we've invested to be able to have X amount of money, then it gives us a different way to prioritize the things we buy, because we often separate ourselves from the we look at money as money rather than money as a representation of our expenditure of energy and expenditure of life. So that's one way we can be looking at investment of our lives and investment of our money. There's also, if we're looking at how we're investing our time, we get to look at how do we want to be investing our time in terms of our relationships? Do we want to invest a lot of time and energy in being angry and resentful and vengeful or frustrated or sad? Or, how do we really want to invest our time? If we start looking at our time as a precious commodity, how do we want to invest it? Do we want to invest it in self-care? Self-care can look like all different kinds of things. It might look like reading a book. It might look like taking a bath. It might look like watching TV. It might look like going to the gym. It might look like just sitting and doing nothing or sleeping late. But we get to look at how do we want to invest our time. And this is, again, we can map these considerations onto those quadrants for decision making, for prioritization. So I'm wondering, what's your experience as we're thinking about investing and investing your time and prioritizing? What kinds of different decisions might you make if you're cognizant of the investment that you're making of your life energy, of your time? I think it's an interesting way to be thinking about how we spend our lives. What do you want to be putting your energy into? And that brings us back around to the conversation about values. And what do we value? And how do we express that? How do we express our values? And in life, do we live in alignment with our values? When we do, the experience of our lives is so much richer. It's interesting, as I'm speaking, I'm hearing all these money metaphors, right? Richer. And it's not in terms of spending, in terms of investing, in terms of things. It's not about things. There are some things that give us joy, or that we experience joy around. There are some things that make our lives a lot easier. And we get to look at, what are we investing in? And that gets to not just our personal values, but values. So one of the things that I encounter with my conversation with potential clients is the conversation around money, because it costs money to be in the coaching program. And so people tend to look at the dollar figure and say, and then look at their budget and say, well, and most people don't have a budget, and say, I can't afford that. Or Well, that's actually one of the first responses, is I can't afford that. And the thing is that it's not about that they can't afford it most often. It's more about that they're not prioritizing themselves, that they're not recognizing the value, so that maybe there are other things that they could adjust, other expenses that they could adjust if need be, in order to make that investment in themselves. When they start looking at the value. And when we look at the value of something, we are able to make choices that are in greater alignment with our being. So I'm wondering, for you, as you think about where you spend your money, which is part of your life energy, and where you spend your time, and what your values are you seeing alignment of your money with your values? Are you seeing alignment of your time with your values? Are you able to recognize these nuances of areas where maybe you are, the word squandering comes to mind, but where you're making expenditures of time or money, emotion, energy, that are out of alignment with your being. Come on, people, let's hear what you have to say. What is this conversation stirring in you? I'm really, really curious to know what kinds of thoughts you're having about this. What is coming to mind for you? So Rosalind says, if my interest is wisdom and intuition to guide self-expression, how is time best spent? That's a great question. And that's what we want to be doing, is generating questions that are in alignment with our values. So wisdom and intuition, and that guides self-expression. So what's going to support that? Well, meditation might support that. There might be certain courses that might support that. There might be certain books that might support that, or time in nature, or time that is quiet time where you can connect more deeply. And so if you're a person that is in a frantic schedule and your commitment is wisdom and intuition, but you're always running, then maybe that it's time to readjust. And I'm not talking about you specifically, Rosalind, because I get that you invest time in developing yourself. But if that's a commitment and you have all these other obligations and responsibilities and commitments, and you don't make time, this is the important but not urgent quadrant, is to make time to serve that higher intention, right? And also, I would say, to be looking at the people that you invest your time and energy with, because there may be people that are going to be more supportive of the development of wisdom and intuition. And the circle of people that we surround ourselves with is also a big area of investment of life energy. And it also is, if we want to keep up with this investing idea, it's also where we can find a either diminishing return or an enhanced return. If we elevate our circle, then and gravitate to people that support the values that we are aligned with, then it supports us. It supports us in our growth. So although I'm using all these money metaphors in this conversation, it's really another level of mindfulness that we're talking about. Mindfulness and presence to the bigger picture of how all these different things are interconnected. And if you really recognize that your investment of time is your investment of life, of your life force, then perhaps that can give you the motivation to find meaningful work. Meaningful work is profoundly rewarding. We spend tremendous amounts of our life energy working to earn a living. Isn't that interesting? Earn a living. We are living, and we should be living first, right? And to be earning while we're living, as we're expressing ourselves and our lives. So that's the conversation for this morning about investment. And I hope that it resonates for you and maybe turns on some light bulbs regarding how we invest our heart and soul and our lives and our energy. So I think that's it for this morning. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I invite you to check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network, Enlightened World Living. And I am so grateful to you for your engagement. Dido, hi. Welcome. Dido says coaching with you has supported me greatly. Thank you, Dido. It's been such a joy to be working with you, and I'm very grateful. And I'm grateful to all of you for your engagement in these conversations and your candor. And until next time, so much love to you.